In the Comey case, yesterday, 2 days ago, the prosecutors seemed not to be able to claim that the full grand jury signed off on the a replacement indictment with two charges. Yesterday, the prosecutor said, "Oh no, actually they did." Sean, how can that happen? How can it be that they didn't have that information 2 days ago, but they did yesterday? And two-part question: is the case now back on track?
So I'll say what I said yesterday. I don't understand the like from a normal person sitting on the outside who's not a lawyer. I think a reasonable person would say, I don't understand how this makes sense, and you'd have to toss it out, right? But as I said yesterday, when you talk to lawyers, some of them will say, oh, it's not a big deal as long as it ends up in the right place. I don't know the answer to that question. And so I think from the outside and a lay person standpoint, you look and go, messy at best. So we'll be interested to see how the judge
Yeah.
rules on this. But I think if
Dan,
I were a normal person saying that, I'd say the odds are pretty good this isn't going forward.
Dan, do you understand why they were able to answer yesterday but not the day before?
I don't understand so much of Lindsay
Okay.
Halligan's
Okay.
actions.
You all would be forgiven if you couldn't remember whether Adam Schiff has already been indicted for mortgage fraud or not. He hasn't. The case continues, but a strange development overnight. It's almost impossible to describe this because it involves the Trump Justice Department investigating. Good for them, if it's true, good with integrity. The Trump Justice Department is investigating the investigators. According to reports in several news organizations, a witness speaking on the record who is a kind of a whistleblower who brought the original allegations about Schiff to the attention of Pulte and others, says she was questioned by a grand jury about whether Pulte and others in the Trump administration behaved inappropriately in sharing private information about Adam Schiff. And that suggests that maybe rather than Schiff being indicted, people might be indicted for investigating Schiff. Dan, can you explain how this has happened?
Every time I think like what will be the opening few paragraphs of like Trump 2.0, stories like this just make me wonder if they're going to be in there. I mean, it is, first off, it's so blatantly obvious that this is absolutely 100% political. I mean, talk about weaponization of government. The fact that this witness, I think it's the Journal, according to the Journal, when the investigator asked her, did Pulte reach out to you? She's like, well, we spoke a few times. And who has it out for Pulte? Who got Todd Blanche? The story says the number 2 deputy AG has worries about the sloppiness of what is happening in that area. We know that Bassett doesn't like him. So I ask you guys, who's got the knife out to take out? And Sean, you always said Trump likes him.
Yeah. So Sean, again, trying to pull back the curtain for folks. This is real hardball if Dan's theory is correct. They tried to get Pulte out by leaking about him, by kind of attacking him frontally and on the side. Could they really be ginning up a grand jury in an investigation to try to harm Pulte? Could that really be what's happening here? Is that how the world works?
Well, I think you've got a spectrum. It could be full on that, or it could be we're leaking it so that we can go to the president and say, Mr. President, look what's going on. This is how sloppy this has gotten. That there's so there's a possibility that it's a head fake, meaning that you create the illusion that it's more serious than it is. But I think at the end of the day, half of the communication, if not more, to the president is done through the press. And so the idea is this, red on red, where they're basically trying to say, this guy that you like is this sloppy, is creating a headache for you. Look what he's doing. Look at how he did it. And we're going to get in trouble because of him. It's probably easier to, So I think it could be real or it could be a total head fake to create the illusion.
But what will Trump say if the Schiff case collapses because his own Department of Justice took down the operative that he so clearly has digging up dirt to get these people?
Seems like he'd be pissed off.
Oh,
well, I will tell you that
there are codes for execution.
There was a comment yesterday that I thought was telling in the when the president was speaking, and he looked at Bassett and he said, the only thing I'm not happy about him with is the Fed. Like somehow, and the Fed is an independent institution, obviously, and et cetera, et cetera. So, but this goes to the broader point that you're bringing up, which is if the Comey case collapses, if the Pulte, allegations don't pan out, Does he start saying, you are responsible for this, you are responsible for this, you created this, and you suddenly have people pushed out because they're responsible for sloppiness?
Amazing.
They say that something that's easy is like a walk in the park. Well, easier than a walk in the park, hit the subscribe button, be part of the two-way community, never miss an episode, be part of our conversations. Thank you for your service to America.
And don't forget, you can now listen to the morning meeting and Two-Way Tonight on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.